All right, this video is going to walk through the basics of iMovie. So how to get an iMovie project started, how to add media files, so like pictures and videos into your timeline, editing those media files, and then ultimately exporting the entire thing out. So we're going to walk through the whole process from the very beginning. This is a very, very high level video, so please just remember that these are the basics. I encourage you to play around with iMovie. Just starting at this point here. So the first thing we're going to do is, if iMovie's not down here, you can either go to your Launchpad or you can just search it. So let's search in iMovie, and then we'll click the star. The fact that it's bouncing means that it's loading, and the dot underneath means that it's an open application. So this is what you're looking at. If you've already made iMovies before, you will have some other videos already present. In general, there are three main things you want to focus on. So the theater piece is something we're going to actually focus on for another clip. You don't really need to worry about that one too much. So it's the projects and the media piece. So if you wanted to import media files, you can do that directly, but I'll actually show you a better way to do that. So we're just going to jump into projects, and we're just going to create a new project here. We're going to create a new movie. And this will take us to our this is our normal setup screen. You'll see that there are already media files added here, but if you wanted to add your own files from your computer, you would click this arrow right here. All right, this will take you automatically to your documents in your computer. So let's say I wanted to go to, I'm in my desktop, or I'm here. These are all videos. Let's say I wanted to create a video on how to set up AirDrop. Let's say I've already made that video, or that's a video that I've downloaded, and now that's the one that I'm going to use. So I'm going to import that. And you can do that with pictures or anything like that. So maybe let's show downloading a picture too. So if I wanted to go to, my documents here, you can see that there are all of my documents, and I'll try and find one that's again a picture. So I'll just go into pictures, and then I'll do the design thinking process. I don't know, that's just a photo. Okay, so now you've got your media files that you're working with. They're up here. All you have to do is click on them. If you see, you'll notice that if it's a video, you'll see that there's a bar already present, and it gives you a preview of what that clip is. What I'm going to do is take that whole clip, and I'm just going to click and drag it into this here. And you'll see that this is the clip from the beginning to end. If I wanted to zoom in on parts of the clip, which is what we're going to do in a little bit, I would use this piece over here. And you'll notice that instead of looking at the whole clip now, I'm only looking at one section of the clip. And from here, you can then just use two fingers, and you can scroll left and right, and you can see different pieces of the clip. And photos are going to work the same way. So if I wanted to, maybe at the end of that, I've truncated the whole clip, but there it is in 2 minutes. Let's say I wanted to add a photo then at the end of it. I can do that there. So photos and videos work the same way, that you can just add them into it. All right, so for editing clips, this is the best thing. When you go into the clip, if you hit space bar, it automatically starts. That's my voice on top of my voice. But you can see that the space bar is going to start and stop the clip. If I don't like a piece of the clip, let's say from 4 seconds all the way over to 9 seconds, let's say I don't want that section in there. Well, what you can do is you want to make sure that the bar is hovering over this place you want to stop. And then you're going to hit the buttons Command P on your keyboard. If you hit Command and B at the same time, you'll notice that the clip splits. Now, until you do anything about it, it's going to remain very steady. It's going to be continuous. All it does is just allows you now to really move certain sections of the clip around. So let's say, again, I wanted to stop at 4 seconds, and I wanted to go till 9 seconds, and I wanted to cut out that piece. I would do Command B again. Notice that now I have the section that I wanted to isolate, and if you see that it's yellow, it's clicked. Otherwise, you can click on that space and then hit the delete button, and it's gone. You'll also notice then that this other clip moves over to try and make it continuous. I mean, it's a little choppy because I edited a weird spot, but you can see that that's how you would get rid of a little section within it. You have to isolate the section and then just delete that. Within this, you also have the ability to shorten your video, but you can only do it from the ends. So for instance, if I wanted to shorten this video, I would have to move it over, and you can see that by clicking and moving over from the edge, it actually shortens the beginning part of the video. And you'll see that if you play it, it jumps to that new spot. Again, very choppy. You can do that though from both ends. So you can also say, let's say you didn't like the ending of your video, you can click and then drag it down, and then you can end the video a little bit shorter. But that's great for video clips. I would recommend a combination of taking that Command B approach and dragging the ends if you have, like, let's say an interview and you want to eliminate the gaps within that, or you just want to highlight a particular section of that. Using a combination of those two things can really help. And when in doubt, you can always also re-drag in the original clip in. So this is just what you've edited in this particular scene. You can always bring the clip back in. Right. There are other things that we want to be aware of for pictures now. So if we move to another direction, we want to do pictures. You can do the same thing, that you can shorten the length of time that a picture's open, or you can elongate the length of time that a picture's open. And you can see that in the left corner of the picture, it's the amount of time that that picture is going to take up. So this is telling me that if I have this picture up, it's going to be up for about 12.4 seconds. That's a long time for a picture. So if you just had a regular picture that wasn't doing anything, that would be really boring. You can have two really good options to work with pictures that I personally recommend. One is a voiceover. So if you hit this button here while your bar is set wherever you want, usually it's at the beginning of a picture, you can do a voiceover recording. So for instance, let's say I want to start it at the beginning of this picture here. So the bar is set up there. I would click this button. And then here, you see the red button here, that's where you can start recording. You'll also see that because this little section here, this section of dots is red and changing colors, it's recognizing my voice and seeing how loud or soft I'm speaking. So I'm pretty close to the microphone, so it's usually pretty red. It's going to be loud. But if it's green, it's going to be a bit softer. Either way, you see that it's working on the microphone. Click record. It'll give you a 3-second countdown to when it starts. And now look, we're starting our recording on this design thinking picture, and you can see that the audio is underneath it as well. If you were to test it out, and now look, we're starting our recording on this design thinking picture, you can see that that's how that would work there. The other effect that I recommend is called the Ken Burns effect, and that's actually what allows the picture to be moving the way it is right now. Pictures aren't automatically like that. But if you want to make your pictures move as you narrate over them, you would click that cropping button up at the top here. Click Ken Burns effect. And you want to have two essential spots. You want to see where the picture starts and where the picture ends. So right now, the layout is it would start on the right side of the picture and go over to the left. Maybe I wanted to do the other way. Maybe I wanted to start at the left and then go to the right. So you'll see that the start button and the end button, you have to click those buttons, and you move your screens to wherever you want it to go. So I'm going to switch them here. I can also make this smaller if I want to, so maybe it starts on like a corner, and then it extends out to the whole thing. Okay, we can test it out. And now look, we're starting our recording on this design thinking picture. You can see that the picture started in the left corner and then expanded out to the whole picture by the end of the clip. So between a voiceover recording and the Ken Burns effect, those are the two biggest devices I think you can use, the biggest tools you can use to edit pictures. All right, so let's say now you've been editing your videos, you've been editing your pictures, you've done some narration. You can edit your audio the same way you can video clips. And if you want to add certain sound effects, you would just go up to audio here, drag them over. If you want to add titles or you want to add subtitles, maybe you had a narration that was a little hard to hear, it's the same idea. If you want to add subtitles, you would just click on one of your titles and then drag it into the timeline wherever you wanted it to. So let's say I wanted to do, I wanted to introduce maybe a character, or I wanted to introduce who I'm interviewing if I was going to do an interview. I would click and drag it over, and then you can just edit your text in over here. So let's say maybe so this one is about how to airdrop by Tyler. And maybe for your interview, it would be the person's name and then their occupation or something like that. Either way, though, that's how you would then add in subtitles or titles. So between all of those, you really can make a pretty good movie based on, again, just really those things. So once you have your movie done, you've edited it, you've played around with everything, and it's good to go, you might be wondering, well, how do I then export it? Maybe I want to make it into a YouTube clip. You can do the export button up at the top here, so click share, and you'll notice that YouTube is one of the options. So I'm going to show you the direct way to do it to YouTube. When in doubt, you can also always make it into a file that saves on your computer directly. That would be the backup plan, but I'll show you with the YouTube case first. So if you click on YouTube, okay, it gives you a little bit of a description. You can edit the title of your movie. So maybe this is demoing iMovie, or whatever you would call it. This description is about my iMovie. We are talking about iMovie here. You can leave these as it is. Privacy, you can really choose what you would like. Private is completely, it's just yours. It doesn't really go out to anyone. You want to make it unlisted, which means that no one can find it, but you can still share the clip if you want to. And then public would mean that it's searchable. So I'm going to have it as unlisted right now. I'm going to click the next button here. I accept that I haven't used anything that isn't mine, so I'm going to publish it. And up here, it'll give you a progress bar of how long it's going to take your iMovie to upload to YouTube. So upload takes a little bit longer than downloading. You might take you maybe 10 minutes for this one. It depends on how big your movie is. The bigger the movie, the longer it's going to take. But you can see that it is still working. So for instance, I had a 2-minute movie and it's going to take me 5 minutes. Either way though, once it's done, it'll automatically kick you over to YouTube. And then from your personal YouTube, you'll be able to download or at least get the clip, the link for your YouTube, and then you'll be able to share it off. So either way, that's a quick, short synopsis of iMovie. Hopefully you have enough that you can really get your hands dirty and start playing around with some of the cool features. There are so many other ones, but at least those will get you started and can get you a pretty good product.